Well, I'm back. Literally back in Ontario. My God. You guys were busy when I was gone. Look at the snow. I'm sitting here in my driveway. I had to go to the barn today. We had a couple of people didn't show up. This time of year, there's a lot of sickness going around. I try not to judge anybody. So when we're short, we're short. So I went to the barn today and helped out, jogged a bunch of horses down in Shed Row 5. Wanted to talk to Jason, Kevin, Harry, updates on their 3-year-olds. I guess the stables is the best way to go about that this week. I'm going to trim it down a little bit simply because there's not a lot to report, right? They did train the horses on the 2-year-olds on Saturday, but I didn't get any, hey, this horse trained bad. A couple of horses were flatter than I'd led, than people like to see them. Some of them trained really well. The perennial, top end of the stable was still running pretty hot and pretty strong, and the middle ones seem to be improving from what I heard. So I'm going to train some tomorrow. I am going to try and get you guys a drone on Friday. Saturday looks like a blizzard. My God, like -1 blizzard, the worst kind of blizzard. But all throughout the week, it's going to be hovering around -1, -2. It looks like sun on Friday. So we'll try and get it in Friday. I'm going to tell everybody I'd like to train some horses tomorrow and then back on Friday. We'll see how that works out. Obviously, as you know, as I said, I was away on vacation last week. Amy and I took the kids to the Dominican Republic, which I wasn't a big fan of when she said she wanted to go there because I like to eat. Well, I still found a way to put on 4 pounds, so food was pretty good. The Dominican this time. The only other time we went, it was horrible. So, and anybody that I've ever talked to said it was bad, but this time it was good. The kids had a great time. The reason we ended up going away there was Jody Jameson and I, pretty good friends. You may not know it, by the way. He ran into West 52nd last week, but Jody and I are pretty good friends. He was the best man at my wedding, and he had asked if we wanted to take the kids away to a resort for where there's families, which made sense. The kids had a blast. Ollie stayed up all night playing soccer in the I don't know what they call that little area there, but they had a lot of fun. So it was good to get away. Obviously, a week for me isn't enough for my brain to shut down. It barely gets me into neutral. So I was still texting people and emailing people, which I like. I say this all the time, and everybody thinks it's a cliche. I love my job, but I do love my job, and I don't find it that bad. It's a little stressful sometimes when you're dealing with bills and people not showing up for work when you're not in the country, and just work stuff. But at the same time, it was nice to get away, have some time to relax with our families, and it was good. So I'm back, as I said. Now I will tell you about something that's really troubling to me. I have talked in the last few months with a number of people in the thoroughbred industry. Just because of what we do, people are inquisitive about how it would translate and how it would look and how it would be done. I feel bad for the thoroughbred people. I mean, standardbred people, it just seems like we get a bunch of shit dumped on us and we just dig our way out. And the thoroughbred people are going through that now in a lot of places. I'm very disturbed. I was on my way to work, and from time to time I'll switch back from the radio with the kids and music, and then CNN or Fox or whatever. And Fox headlines I like to listen to, because then I don't have to listen to the garbage of somebody telling me how I should feel about the news. I just want to get the headlines. And one of the headlines at 8:30 in the morning on the way to the barn was 3 horses died at Santa Anita in a training accident yesterday. You need to realize, we need to understand this as an industry. Somebody's driving this narrative, right? Fox News just didn't pick up on this. Somebody's driving this narrative from California, and I'm going to tell you what, I don't hear any rebuttals. I don't hear any. We should be on red alert right now, our industry. And I know there's going to be lots of people out there that say, Anthony, thoroughbreds and standardbreds are night and day. Yeah? How are they to the average person? The average person that isn't you watching this. The average person that isn't a horse person. How does that sound? Nobody can differentiate between standardbreds and thoroughbreds when they first enter an industry, or when they look at our industries from outside. You can't differentiate. A horse is a horse. So I'm very disturbed and very concerned overall, but the overall industry. I mean, I personally, my point of view and my take on it is it's pretty clear that California has an issue with horse racing. They did with dog racing. It's gone. I would be more on the offensive, and I'll stop short of saying what I think, because it may not be right, and maybe I'm not right in saying it, so I'll stop short. But at the same time, I would be sounding the alarm, and I know people have for a while, but not enough. More needs to be done. When I'm driving to work at 8:30 in the morning on Fox Headlines, the number 3 or 4 headline of the day so far on a Monday. This is very important. It's a major news network. And Monday mornings, number 4 or 5 headline was Santa Anita horses dying. So beware. I know that everybody out there, our clients, we have a ton of clients in California and Florida also. And I hear about this all the time, but it feels to me that there's obviously some push from somewhere. I think we all know likely where it's from, but I would like to see horse racing be on the offensive more than it is. Anyway, that was something that bothered me today. Getting home, I felt great when I get home. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got to come back to the snow." I don't care about the snow. What I care about is when it melts, which it looks like it's going to do all week. That's upsetting. I don't mind the snow. I was born in PEI. I'm a Canadian. Snow doesn't bother me. But it melting does. So it's played. Now, if we all remember last year was the worst, wasn't it? Freeze, thaw, rain, snow, ice pellets. It was a horrible year. This year's not as bad. This isn't bad. -6 or 7, with snow on the ground. Not a big deal at all. Not for me anyway. And it is, this weather does play havoc with the horses. Now, we've been lucky. We were aggressive with the way we vaccinated the sick ones. We've looked for other remedies, and they've actually worked on some of the horses. We only have about 2 that I would say are still coughing a little more than they should in odd times, right? They won't cough for 5 days and you'll hear them again. They're not what you would say healthy. And we're working on that, but we have that number dwindled way down to, as I said, in my mind, 1 or 2 horses that we really have to work on. But that's okay. Our guys are doing a great job getting to the bottom of that. And again, in a perfect world, I would say Wednesday we're going to train, Saturday we'll drone. You know what? I've told you guys again and again and again, I'm going to try and get you the 3-year-olds droning. They're all getting close to the races now because they get time off, then they come back in, they jog for a month. We're not going to drone them jogging. Then they start training. But Kevin trains a little harder than, say, Harry, or than Jason might. Jason's horses were out a little bit longer in Ohio. They come back in. So now they're at different time schedules. It's hard to get them droned. I wanted to drone this week. Kevin came to me and goes, "Listen, I'm really sorry. I know you'd sent a note out the other day saying you wanted to drone this week. I want to take Emerald Mist to the track tomorrow and train her in 2-1, 2-2." I said, "It's okay. We didn't have anything set in stone. I was just looking to do it." So what we'll like to do, we're going to have to get you an off day where they're training in like 30, where they're not going in the race bike or anything. So we want to do that over at Mohawk. But a day where they're going in 30, maybe next week, maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday again, weather permitting. Because what I'm about to tell you is we're training our horses tomorrow. I'm going to tell everybody at the barn, get them ready tomorrow. They're all training tomorrow because it looks like we might be able to drone on Friday. I sent a message out to Curtis. I have to get back. I have to wait for Curtis to get back to me and tell me if he can. Because as you know, other people are droning now, and good for them. Blake McIntosh is a great site, and he drones his horses on Fridays. So I don't know if Curtis is available on Friday. I hope he is. I guess we're going to find out here when he messages me back. So, as I said, not much to report on the 2-year-olds, up and down a little bit, but no concerns just yet. Some bumps and bruises from last week. We're working on that. It shouldn't really keep anybody out of Friday's drone session, I hope. We talked about the news on the radio. The O'Briens. Obviously, I won. I guess the Cam Fellows and O'Brien. It's being given out at the O'Brien Awards. It was so cool. I was standing in the airport last night, and this was a zoo. We get off the plane, and for whatever reason, it had to be something weather-related. Like 6 planes were emptying onto number 8 conveyor belt for luggage, and we were like number 4th in queue. So Amy and I and 3 kids, and I'm telling you, I don't know what the capacity is in the luggage area for Pearson Airport, but we were well beyond capacity. It was like a sardine can in there, and there was like 3 luggage belts going and 4 that had no planes on them. So I don't know what was going on, but we were waiting and waiting and waiting. And as the crowd thinned out a bit, this gentleman walks up to me and he says, "You're Anthony McDonald." I said, "That's correct. I am Anthony McDonald." He said, "Hey, man, I love what you're doing for the industry." And I said, "Hey, none of this would be possible without our clients. I mean, it sounds cool because the numbers are big, but the numbers are big because, our clients continue to support us." So, and he said, "No, it's, I know you won that award. I read it on the Standardbred Canada the other day. It was real cool." So that was pretty neat. A great welcome home, put it that way. So so that was cool. But I hope you guys looked into and maybe coming to the O'Briens with us. I would love to jam the place full of clients from the stable.ca. And make no mistake, whether you're whether you have horses racing right now with us or whether you're hanging back. And I know it's a little pricey sometimes since it's a black tie event, and I know I didn't go for years and years. I was racing and I'm like, I'm not going to the O'Briens. I don't have any horses that are nominated. But if you want to come, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you there with us and celebrating us. It's not just my night. I mean, Curtis and Kelly are up for an award also for a media award. And of course, Mario Bergeron, one of our trainers, is up for a horsemanship award. So we have a big contingency from the stable.ca at the O'Briens on February 1st, and we would love to have you guys there. Also, staking is fast approaching. February 15th, I've had a number of people email me asking about their horses. Obviously, if we have a horse, we're going to stake it jurisdictionally. I mean, there'd be no way to sell the horse if it wasn't staked in that jurisdiction. For instance, if we have a New York bred and maybe we're not taking the horse to New York, maybe the horse just isn't good enough. Somebody in New York might want that horse, but they certainly don't want it if it's not staked in New York. So it really diminishes your ability to sell a horse. So in that regard, we will be staking all of our horses jurisdictionally. I should start the car. We will be staking all of our horses jurisdictionally, and outside of that, we'll see. I'd said to Jason today, I said, globetrotting, I don't really want to take her to the Hackett. This is a filly this is the stable's 3-year-old so far. This is our, White Tiger, or what Lawmaker. This is 2020 sophomore horse for us to watch is obviously globetrotting. We have some great horses behind her, obviously. Spend that money. I expect we'll come back good. Compass Rose DC look fantastic. We have a slew of Ontario breds that are training back very, very good. Some horses in New Jersey that look good. Rooney Blue Chip looked awesome last week. But call a spade. When we look at all the information we compiled from 2019, the horse we're all going to watch in 2020 is, at the start anyway, is globetrotting. And man, oh man, I hope she doesn't falter. I hope she comes back really strong. And Jason was pretty wild the other day, turned her for the first time since turning her out, and he said she was really, really good. So hopeful. So back to the staking. When it comes to horses like that, we're going to look, where do we want to race her? When do we want to have her ready? Where do we want to race her? Jurisdictionally, for most of the horses, we are going to look at some added money events. We're going to try to be a little more frugal than we did last year. Listen, we have a lot of analytical people. I say this all the time. You can take all the printouts of all we did, how we did it, and where we did it. At Grand Circuit level, virtually no money made. We'd like to get there, and we're getting better horses every year. So I would rather have our horses staked there than have a bunch of horses that could have raced in the Grand Circuit and say, we forgot, or we didn't bother. So there's that thin line of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And I know we have a lot of people on both sides. You'll have people that say, hey, man, I want to have our horses eligible to everything. I get that. But there's a lot of people that put a lot of faith in the consistency and in the conservative way that we approach racing and staking. So we're going to take a real hard look at that this coming year. Also, licensing again. I'll continue to say this throughout the year. If you guys are going to be members of multiple jurisdictions, then I would hope that you would let us help you get licensed with the National Racing Compact, the NRC. They can take care of all those headache problems, those things that really can pose a problem throughout the year and really cause headaches throughout the year, you know, scrambling around on the day of the race to get this gentleman licensed or a waiver for him or this lady. And what we need to do is be a little more proactive. So on our site, if you would take the time to fill in all your licenses, when they're expired, when you have them, what state they're in, so that we can help you track them also. We'll put alerts on our system so that when John in Delaware, his Ontario license is up for renewal in 2 weeks, we can get on top of that. We can get on top of that and move a little quicker with that when it comes to things like that. So 2 parts. One, please update your licensing when the expiration dates are and what licenses you possess. We have that ability on the site, so we can help you track that. Secondly, if you're going to be a member of multiple jurisdictions, which we hope you are, then for now, at least for now, so we can tackle this problem as easily as we can. It's a little more expensive, but as easy as we can. Let us help you get hooked up with the National Racing Compact, which would save a lot of problems. So we talked about a lot in the opening. I'm not going to do a 2-year-old update this week because there's no point. I can't update you. I was gone away last week. I can tell you there's been no issues at hand as of right now. We are planning on training tomorrow. We are planning on droning on Friday. So that's what I can tell you about the 2-year-olds right now. As far as the 3-year-olds, they're all in their stables. So we're just going to update the stables this week. No top 10 list, but I am giving you 10 horses that I've entered in the sale and what I need to see them do to not make it there. Be back in a minute. I'm going to talk about a sale list. Then we're going to talk about the stables. Back in just a minute.